It looks like it's been up I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's like a dead animal.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there's a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and promote homeland security while sticking their hands down on pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch, the Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level.
I don't know what it is. Ralph just won't pay any attention to me. When he comes home from work, all he ever does is play video games and go to sleep. It's like I don't even exist.
Oh, Betty, that's just awful.
Does this seem familiar? If the answer to this question is yes, then listen carefully. Toxic pesticides, GMO foods and additives, BPA plastics, contaminated water supplies. Many of these toxic additives are deliberately engineered to attack and weaken human masculinity. It's part of the eugenics population control movement. Look it up. If men are more interested in online gaming than they are in their wives, a serious population crisis is soon to follow. Energize the man in your life with Super Male Vitality from InfoWarsLife.com. It's designed to aid the body in ways that help invigorate your natural systems without artificial testosterone, completely free of GMOs, harmful additives, gluten, and is made right here in the USA. Get your Super Male Vitality right now at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
A chemical spill contaminating the water supply in 9 West Virginia counties.
This year alone, over 300,000 people in West Virginia had their drinking water contaminated.
What are the health effects of having these drugs in our drinking water?
It's forced medical treatment without the consent of residents.
My friends, water filtration is one of the most basic actions you can take to protect you and your family from the harmful toxins and heavy metals in your tap water.
On average, the county says it sprays with the glyphosate at least once a week.
Few filters cut out the glyphosate that is found in water supplies worldwide. Remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, hydrofluorosilicic acid, sodium hexafluorosilicate.
Fluoride, it is in tea, it's in coffee, it's in water, it's in bread, it's in toothpaste.
It is our responsibility to protect our families. The establishment's not going to do it. It's time to take action. It's time to filter our water. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and use promo code WATER to get 10% off their entire family of incredible products. Or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Hi, I'm Janet Napolitano, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Homeland Security begins with hometown security.
It seems apparent that our citizens are staying off the streets, which may make scoring particularly difficult, even with this year's rule changes. To recap those revisions, women are still worth 10 points more than men in all age brackets, but teenagers now rack up 40 points, and toddlers under 12 now rate a big 70 points. The big score, anyone, any sex, over 75 years old, has been upped to 100 points. As always, how fast you move determines how long you live.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
And dovetailing with that intro, if you just joined us and are watching on television, you see the articles that are up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. TSA to purchase 24 million rounds of duty ammunition for you and your family. U.S. Special Forces with foreign troops practice invading Tampa to, quote, fight extremists, and announcing on loudspeakers via the news that this is not an invasion. by the New World Order. Isn't that just dandy? And New York City's announcing drones and microphones to watch you and listen to you. That's in New York Daily News. Remember just 2-3 years ago, Alex Jones was insane? There was no plan to have drones watching you in the skies. It's crazy, even though it was in all the Pentagon documents, that they would have armored vehicles deployed everywhere, drones, attack drones. And now they're at South by Southwest this year on the news. We played it here. They have drones with shotguns and tear gas and face scanners to go and chase people down the street and attack them with your digital photo from the DMV loaded lovingly into the robot, flying around scanning, looking for you. Hunter-seeker robots. Oh, and driverless cars are coming to Europe next year, and they're going to tax everyone by the mile, and they're already saying, oh, all the cars for about a decade have a tracker box in them with a live wire, with a cell phone package. We're going to tax you by the mile, and it turns out driverless cars are safer than humans. We're not going to let humans drive soon. Ah! Oh, and Google's going to tie in, along with the NSA and Microsoft and Apple, to all the new appliances, like the CIA director said 2 years ago. And they're going to track everything you do and watch you in live time. And old people, if they get Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security, will now have to have smart grids in their homes, their subsidized housing, that watch when they go to the toilet and report everything they're doing. And sensors in the toilet give, readings if they're sick or anything for their safety, of course. Oh, it's also liberal. Uh-huh. So you want to be slaves, you've got it. And Adon Salazar is working on an article. I saw this last week. I was at the gym, about the only time I see mainstream television. And they had MSNBC on, and they, of course, that's where I would see it. And they have morning after pill ad with a woman getting them off a store shelf. Now, I guess in reality, they're behind the counter, but in the ad I saw, we're going to see if you can find that on YouTube, guys. They're getting it off the shelf. So the idea is this is no big deal. This is safe. It's like a thing of butter, or a can of soda water, or a slice of beef, a rutabaga, an onion. You just throw it in your basket. But you can get it right off Amazon. Plan B one-step emergency contraceptive. Must be 17 or over to purchase without a prescription. Oh, but if you get a prescription, I guess, or you show your ID and you're 17, you can get it. And what they don't tell you is this is basically the morning after pill that killed so many people. I mean, it's really poisonous. It's poison. And they just act like, oh, it's wonderful, safe and effective. Yeah, they found the ad. That's not the one I saw. Oh, listen to the music. Yeah, let's start it over. Let's start it over since you found it. So this is Plan B one step. And it says, again, we're going to back it up because I can start at the beginning. I want to play it from the beginning so I can read what it says. It's a cartoon of all these happy people. She's laying in bed. She looks over. And the condoms split, sperm swim by, she's on a bus, a baby's crying, ooh, babies are gross, I'm not ready for that one, she says. She goes to the chemist, it's a nice trendy word for the drugstore, and she gets the over-the-counter drug. I guess there's a bunch of brand names of it. This is a different one.
1101 step, 72.
And they call it the one step.
More effective the sooner you take it.
And that's out of England. I guess over here it's called Plan B. So again, we'll try to find the Plan B ad and see if we have that. It's probably on the drug website is where we'll find it if it's not on YouTube yet. But the point is, the guys are working on a report on that, just the total culture of death. And in so many sitcoms, dramas, ads, you name it, they show a baby crying, and it's like the most horrible thing on earth. They're gross. They're terrible. They're disempowering. It'll ruin your life. And sometimes I'll be at a resort or something with my children on vacation, and it'll be an empty pool. And it's always when it's an empty pool, and there'll be some trendies out there sitting in the hot tub or whatever, and I'll come out with my children who jump in and swim around and laugh and giggle. And I've actually seen trendies go, ugh, and get up and leave like it was so upsetting to see children. Well, if that's the way you think, go to a hotel that doesn't allow children. They have those. But the truth is, these people will be 45, these 30-year-old trendies, wishing they had children. And then they'll have kids too late, and they'll be autistic, unfortunately, because all the toxins have built up in the body. And I'm not knocking folks that don't want kids, but don't demonize me because I like children. And the minute you have children, your brain switches on. You go to the next level. But folks do that as well with dogs and, you know, pets they have. I mean, the point is we're very nurturative. But when you have children, you start thinking about the world in an entirely different way. And this is about a human commitment, having children, and believing in humanity and believing in life. And even though the world's a terrible place in many ways, it's also a beautiful, wondrous place. And we're doubling down against the tyranny and saying we're going to have children. We're going to survive and thrive. We're going to raise them up right to be aware of how the world really works. That's the idea. But you see these ads about she's laying in bed, there's this gross-looking guy sleeping, she's had sex with him, she looks disgusted at the man. She's on a bus. She's poor. There's babies crying. She doesn't want any part of this. She takes this pill. Everything's wonderful. Everything is awesome. Everything is super when you're part of the team, as the Lego movie theme says, which reminds me of all the globalist propaganda. The truth is you're poor because of deindustrialization. You're poor because they broke up the family and made all the women work. You're poor because they have set up an anti-human system where we're culturally bankrupted. And now you don't have a family. Now everyone is totally atomized and separate from each other, and people aren't honorable. They don't care about each other, on average, that buy into the fake liberal, trendy political correctness. They're totally empty. They're totally rudderless, and they don't know why they're so unhappy because they buy into whatever the system says. So if they just double and triple down on the system, they may be fulfilled. I'm gonna steal a silver stallion without a mark on his silky hide and teach him he can trust me like a brother. And one day we'll saddle up and ride. And we're gonna ride. We're gonna ride. Ride like the one-eyed jack of diamonds with the devil close behind. We're gonna ride. I want to get that Highwayman song and play it from the start as bumper music. Because when you get down to it at the end of the day, whether it's your dog or your horse or your husband or your wife or your children, in mammal relationships, it's all about trust. And you can see a dog when it looks at you with trust, or a horse that knows you and looks at you with trust, or a bird you feed on your back porch that looks at you with trust. And that's all there is in this world, is trust and being honorable. And people taking themselves seriously and taking each other seriously and having some basic respect. And Lord knows I'm not perfect and I'm not respectful all the time, but I realize that's what it's all about. And the globalists don't respect us, and they don't respect themselves. And they have such disdain for the public that at Bilderberg, on record, you're not allowed to look at them in the eyes if you're a bartender or a waiter or a event planner or a manager or anybody.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
I once served the Queen Mum of England.
What was that like, scum?
Exactly as you describe it. I wasn't allowed to look her in the eye. I was paid a nice $300 not to do that or speak to her.
Tell me that story, because you've mentioned it before, but I never got the full story.
Yeah,
I know you also have a degree as a chef and have worked some of the nicest restaurants in Austin before you went to work, again, back into media. What was it, for KI or KVUE?
KXAN and KI.
That's right.
Yeah, but I was working at Keeneland in Kentucky at the racetrack, and they...
Oh, yeah, she lives about a month out of the year there. She just buys her horses there.
Yeah.